Olivia Mason loved to study stars and alien life. Every night, she would sit in her small backyard building in Portland and look at the sky. Many people thought her work was silly, but Olivia didn't care. She knew there was more out there than most people believed. On a cool fall night, Olivia noticed something strange in the sky. Her machines picked up weird energy that she had never seen before. She wrote everything down in her notebook, excited about this new discovery. Suddenly, a bright light filled the room. It was so bright that Olivia had to close her eyes. When she tried to move, she couldn't. The light grew stronger, wrapping around her like a blanket. Then everything went black. When Olivia opened her eyes, she was no longer in her backyard building. She was lying on a strange bed that seemed to be made of clear crystal. The walls around her glowed with soft blue and purple lights that moved like waves. "Where am I?" she whispered, her voice shaking. "You are aboard the Celestial Whisper," said a smooth, musical voice. Olivia turned quickly and saw something that took her breath away. Standing near her bed was a tall, slim figure. Its skin shimmered like pearls in sunlight, changing colors slightly as it moved. The being had a face that looked almost human, but with larger eyes that were deep purple with small lights in them like stars. Its hands had 6 long fingers. "I am Queen Nixala of the Luminari," the being said. "We have been watching your planet for many years." Olivia tried to speak, but no words came out. This was everything she had dreamed of, proof that aliens were real. But being taken from her home was not part of that dream. "Why am I here?" Olivia finally asked. Queen Nixala moved closer. Her movements were graceful like water flowing. "We need your help. My people are dying." The queen explained that the Luminari were a peaceful race who had lived for thousands of years. They traveled through space, learning and growing. But now a terrible sickness was killing them. "Our studies show that humans might hold the key to save us," the queen said. "Your bodies can fight off diseases in ways ours cannot." Olivia listened carefully. As a scientist, she was curious. "I want to help," but before she could finish, a loud noise cut through the air. It sounded like an alarm. The soft lights in the room turned red. "What's happening?" Olivia asked, standing up quickly. Fear flashed across the queen's face. "They found us. The Vorn." "The Vorn?" "Our enemies. They believe organic life like ours and yours is weak. They want to wipe us out and replace all living things with machines." The ship shook violently. Somewhere, there was a loud crash. "Queen." Nixala grabbed Olivia's hand and pulled her through a doorway that opened in the wall. They ran down long hallways where other tall, shimmering beings were rushing around in panic. "I need to show you something," the queen said as they entered a small, round room. Inside was a tube filled with clear liquid. Floating in it was what looked like a sleeping child, a smaller version of the Luminari with the same shimmering skin. "This is my daughter, Princess Lyra," Queen Nixala said, her voice filled with love and worry. "She has been kept in deep sleep to protect her." The queen touched the tube gently. "She is special. Her body might hold the cure for our people." Another explosion rocked the ship, stronger this time. Parts of the ceiling fell around them. Queen Nixala quickly took off a crystal that hung from her neck. It glowed with a soft blue light. She pressed it into Olivia's hand. "This contains our genetic material and my memories," she said. "And this," she typed something on a panel by the tube, "will release the sleep chamber. Take my daughter with you, keep her safe." "But I don't know how to," Olivia stammered. "Please," Queen Nixala whispered, tears like small diamonds running down her face. "She is the future of our people." The wall behind them burst open. Strange soldiers with metal skin and glowing red eyes poured into the room. Queen Nixala pushed Olivia toward a small door on the other side of the room. "That is an escape pod," she said quickly. "It will take you back to Earth. Protect my daughter. I will find you both again, I promise." Olivia wanted to argue, to say this was crazy, that she couldn't take care of an alien child. But there was no time. The soldiers were getting closer. With shaking hands, Olivia opened the small door. Inside was a tiny space, just big enough for her and the tube with the sleeping princess. As soon as they were inside, the door closed automatically. The last thing Olivia saw was Queen Nixala facing the soldiers, her hands glowing with blue light. The queen looked back one last time at the escape pod, her eyes full of tears and hope. "Keep her safe," she mouthed. Then there was a flash of light and the escape pod shot away from the ship. Through a small window, Olivia watched as the beautiful crystal ship was surrounded by larger black ships shaped like spiders. The celestial whisper exploded in a ball of blue light. Olivia held the crystal pendant tightly as the escape pod raced toward Earth. Inside the tube, Princess Lyra slept peacefully, not knowing that her mother might be gone forever, and that her fate now rested with a human woman who, until today, had only dreamed of meeting aliens. "I'll keep you safe," Olivia whispered to the sleeping princess. "I promise." The pod entered Earth's atmosphere, shaking violently as it fell toward the Pacific Ocean. Olivia braced herself, hoping they would survive the landing, and wondering how she would explain an alien princess to the world. 5 years passed since Olivia crashed in the ocean with an alien princess in a sleep tube. The world had changed a lot since then. Eli Winters stood on the bridge of the Dauntless, Earth's first real warship. He looked out at the stars, thinking about how quickly humans had learned to build ships that could travel through space. Before the crash, such ships only existed in movies. "Lieutenant Commander, we're picking up strange signals near Neptune," said a young officer named Kate. Eli nodded. "Show me." On the big screen, a blinking dot appeared near the blue planet. The computer couldn't tell what it was. "Could be nothing," Kate said. "Space junk, maybe." But Eli knew better. In the 5 years since Olivia Mason had returned to Earth with stories of aliens, he had learned that nothing was rarely just nothing. When Olivia's escape pod had been pulled from the Pacific Ocean, Eli was part of the team sent to study it. He was the first person Olivia saw when they opened the pod. She had been scared, confused, and protective of her strange cargo, a sleeping alien child in a crystal tube. Most people didn't believe Olivia's story about the Luminari and the evil, Vorn. They thought she was crazy or lying, but Eli believed her. And when they studied the escape pod and found technology humans had never seen before, others started to believe too. Earth's governments formed the Space Defense Force, using the alien technology to build ships and weapons. Eli joined right away. He wanted to help protect Earth if the Vorn ever came looking for the princess. "Set course for Neptune," Eli ordered. "Let's check out that signal." As the Dauntless moved toward the distant planet, Eli thought about Olivia. After the crash, she had been questioned for months. Eventually, the government let her go, but they kept the alien technology. What they didn't know was that Olivia had managed to keep two things secret: Princess Lyra herself and the crystal pendant Queen Nixala had given her. With help from a few trusted friends, Olivia had hidden the sleeping princess in a secret place, deep under the Rocky Mountains. Eli was one of the few people who knew about this. He had promised to help protect the princess, and he took that promise seriously. "Lieutenant Commander?" Kate called, her voice tight with worry. "The signal is moving. It's a ship, a big one." On the screen, the blinking dot was now moving toward them. As it got closer, the ship's computers started giving more information. "It's not like anything we've seen before," Kate said. "Way bigger than us." Eli felt his heart beat faster. "Battle stations," he ordered. "Power up weapons, but don't aim them yet." The crew rushed to obey. Red lights flashed as the Dauntless prepared for a possible fight. Then they saw it. A massive ship appeared on the screen. It looked like a giant metal spider, with sharp points sticking out in all directions. It was at least 10 times bigger than the Dauntless. "Vorn," Eli whispered. This matched exactly what Olivia had described. Before they could do anything, a pulse of energy shot from the Vorn ship. It wasn't a weapon, at least not a killing one. But when it hit the Dauntless, all the main systems went dark. "We're dead in space," Kate reported, trying to restart the computers. "Engines down, weapons down." Eli knew they were in trouble. Earth wasn't ready for this fight. The Vorn ship was too powerful, and the Dauntless was too new, its crew too inexperienced. "They're coming closer," someone shouted. "I think they're going to board us." Then, just when things seemed hopeless, another ship appeared. This one was different from the Vorn vessel. It had smooth, curved lines and seemed to glow with a soft blue light. Parts of it looked like they were made of crystal. The new ship positioned itself between the Dauntless and the Vorn. "We're receiving a transmission," Kate said, surprised. "From the new ship." A voice filled the bridge, musical and clear. "This is Sovereign Protector Selene of the Luminary Royal Guard. Stand down, human vessel. You harbor something precious to us, and we will not allow the Vorn to claim it." Eli's mind raced. The Luminari had found Earth. But were they friends or just another threat? Olivia had said the Luminari were peaceful, but this Selene sounded ready for a fight. Trapped between two alien forces, Eli made a decision. He remembered the words Olivia had made him memorize years ago, just in case this day ever came. "Open channels to both ships," he ordered. When Kate nodded that the channels were open, Eli spoke clearly. "The daughter of stars awaits the mother's embrace." Silence followed. The Luminary ship didn't move or respond for several long moments. Then, a new voice came through, different from Selene's. This one was deeper, more powerful, and filled with emotion. "You know of my daughter?" the voice asked. Eli stepped closer to the screen, even though he couldn't see who was speaking. "I know where she is," he replied. "And who has been protecting her for the past 5 years? Take me to her," the voice commanded. "First, call off your warriors," Eli said, "and help us fix our ship." There was another pause. "Very well." The Luminary ship sent a pulse of blue energy that washed over the Dauntless. Slowly, the systems came back online. "They're requesting permission to send a small ship to board us," Kate reported. Eli took a deep breath. If this was really Queen Nixala, as he suspected, then this meeting could change everything. But if it was a trick, they might all be in danger. "Let them come," he decided, "but alert security to meet them in the docking bay, and send a message to Earth. Tell them the stars have come to us." As he waited for the Luminari to board, Eli wondered if Olivia was ready for what was coming. The secret she had, kept for 5 years, was about to be revealed to the world. Far away from the Dauntless, deep under the Rocky Mountains, Olivia Mason worked quickly. Her hands moved over the crystal tube where Princess Lyra had slept for 5 years. Olivia had just received a coded message from Eli. "Stars are moving. Mother seeks daughter." This was the message they had prepared for when the Luminary would come looking for Lyra. Olivia had hoped this day would come, but now that it was here, she felt afraid. She had grown attached to the sleeping princess, checking on her every day, talking to her even though Lyra couldn't hear. "It's time to wake up," Olivia whispered. Around her, a small team of trusted scientists watched nervously. They had all sworn to keep Lyra's existence a secret. While the world knew that aliens existed after Olivia's crash, most people didn't know about the princess. "Are you sure about this?" asked Laura, one of the scientists. "The government will be angry when they find out we've been hiding her." "I made a promise," Olivia said firmly. She pressed her hand against a panel on the tube. It recognized her touch and began to glow. Slowly, the liquid inside the tube drained away. The princess's body gently lowered until she rested on the bottom of the tube. She looked like she was around 18 in human years, though Olivia knew Luminari aged differently. As the tube opened, everyone held their breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Princess Lyra's eyes fluttered open. They were deep purple with tiny lights that looked like stars. Lyra sat up slowly, looking around with confusion. When she saw Olivia, she tilted her head. "Who are you?" she asked in perfect English. Her voice was like music. "My name is Olivia Mason," Olivia said gently. "Your mother, Queen Nixala, asked me to protect you." At the mention of her mother, Lyra's eyes widened. "My mother? Where is she?" Olivia hesitated. "I don't know for sure, but I think..." I think she might be coming for you now. Lyra stood up. She was tall and graceful, her skin shimmering like pearls, changing color slightly as she moved. The scientist stepped back in awe. How long have I been asleep? Lyra asked. 5 years on Earth, Olivia explained. I don't know how that translates to your time. Lyra looked sad. Too long. The Vorn. I know about the Vorn, Olivia said. She reached into her pocket and pulled out the crystal pendant that Queen Nixala had given her years ago. Your mother gave me this. She said it contains her memories and genetic material. Lyra reached for the pendant, her six-fingered hand shaking slightly. This is a consciousness crystal. Very rare. She held it up to the light. My mother is in here? Not exactly her, Olivia said. But her memories, yes. I've never been able to activate it. I thought maybe you could. Lyra closed her hand around the crystal. It began to glow brightly between her fingers. A beam of light shot out, forming a shape in the air. The image of Queen Nixala, looking exactly as she had when Olivia last saw her. Mother? Lyra whispered, reaching out to touch the image. My daughter, the holographic queen replied. Her voice sounded distant, but clear. If you are seeing this, then you are awake and safe. The human Olivia has kept her promise. Tears like tiny diamonds ran down Lyra's cheeks. Are you alive? The hologram couldn't really answer questions. It was just a recording. But it continued, speaking as if it had heard. I cannot know if I have survived the Vorn attack, the queen's image said. But know this. You are special, Lyra. Your body was engineered to resist the pathogen that has been killing our people. You are our future, and you must trust these humans, especially Olivia. She is your guardian now. The hologram flickered and disappeared. Lyra stared at the empty air, then looked at Olivia with new respect. You saved me, she said simply. Before Olivia could respond, alarms started blaring throughout the facility. Red lights flashed. What's happening? Laura shouted over the noise. A security officer rushed in. We've just received word from the Space Defense Force. There are alien ships in our solar system, near Neptune. One of our ships, the Dauntless, made contact. Is it the Luminary? Olivia asked hopefully. The officer nodded. And the Vorn? Both. Meanwhile, aboard the Dauntless, Eli stood in the ship's conference room with Queen Nixala and 4 Luminary guards. The queen looked exactly as Olivia had described her. Tall and regal, with shimmering skin and large purple eyes filled with tiny lights. Tell me everything, she demanded. How did you come to know of my daughter? Eli explained how Olivia had crashed on Earth with Lyra's sleep tube, how they had hidden the princess, and how Earth had used the technology from the escape pod to build ships like the Dauntless. This Olivia, the queen said. She has cared. For my daughter all this time? Yes, Eli replied. She's kept Lyra safe just as you asked. Queen Nixala's eyes seemed to glow brighter. Take me to Earth, take me to my daughter. We're making arrangements now, Eli said. But it will take time. The Vorn ship is still out there watching us. The Vorn will not attack while we are here, the queen said confidently. They want me alive. They need information only I have. As they talked, Eli's second-in-command, Samantha Harper, entered the room. Her face was pale and she handed Eli a data pad. Commander, she said quietly, we have a problem. Eli looked at the pad. It showed an analysis of the Luminary ship's energy signature compared to the readings from Olivia's notebook, the ones she had taken just before being abducted 5 years ago. They didn't match. Eli looked up at Queen Nixala with new suspicion. As he did, he noticed something he hadn't seen before. A slight flicker in her appearance, like a bad TV signal. You're not Queen Nixala, he said, reaching for his weapon. The false queen smiled coldly. As they watched in horror, her appearance shifted. Her skin became less shimmery and more metallic. Her eyes changed from purple to a glowing red. Clever humans, she, now clearly a he, said in a completely different voice. But too late. The Guards also changed, revealing themselves as Vorn soldiers. "I am Vorn Prime Intelligence Officer Kirex," the imposter said. "One of the few Vorn capable of mimicking organic life forms, useful for infiltration." "Where is the real Luminari ship?" Eli demanded, backing toward the door. Samantha already had her weapon drawn. "Captured years ago," Kirex said with a cruel laugh. "The real Queen Nixala told us much under interrogation, but never the location of her precious daughter. When we detected your primitive ship approaching Neptune, we saw an opportunity." The Vorn battlecruiser, Eli realized. "It's preparing to attack Earth, isn't it?" "Not just attack," Kirex said. "Our planet killer will eliminate all life on your world, unless you give us Princess Lyra." Samantha fired her weapon, but the energy blast passed right through Kirex, as if he were made of smoke. "Holographic projection," he explained, still smiling. "My real body is safely aboard our ship, and now we take control of your vessel." The lights on the Dauntless flickered as Vorn soldiers poured into the room. Eli grabbed Samantha's arm and pulled her toward a maintenance hatch in the floor. They dropped down just as energy blasts hit the wall behind them. "We have to warn Earth," Eli said as they crawled through the narrow maintenance tunnels. "The Vorn are coming, and they know about Lyra." Eli and Samantha crawled through the narrow tunnels of the Dauntless. They could hear Vorn soldiers searching for them, their heavy metal feet clanking on the floors above. "We need to reach the emergency communication station," Eli whispered. "It's the only way to warn Earth," Samantha nodded. "And we need to lock down the weapon systems. If the Vorn get control of our guns—" They didn't need to finish that thought. The Dauntless was Earth's most powerful ship. In the wrong hands, it could do terrible damage. After what felt like hours of crawling through hot, dusty tunnels, they reached a small room filled with backup controls. "Perfect," Eli said, sliding into a chair. His fingers flew over the keyboard. "I'm sending an emergency code to Earth, and there. I've locked all weapon systems. Only my voice and handprint can unlock them now." "They'll just break the locks," Samantha said. "It will slow them down, at least." The message Eli sent was simple. "Vorn coming. They seek Princess Lyra. Prepare defenses. Dauntless compromised." On Earth, the message reached the secret facility under the Rocky Mountains, just as Olivia was helping Lyra understand her heritage. "Your mother's memories show that you aren't just the princess," Olivia explained. "You're special. Your body was designed to be immune to a disease that the Vorn created to kill your people." Lyra touched the pendant, which now hung around her neck. "So I'm a weapon?" "No," Olivia said firmly. "You're a cure. Your DNA contains the template for saving your entire species." The security officer interrupted them. "Dr. Mason, we've received an emergency message from the Dauntless. The Vorn are coming to Earth. They're looking for her." He pointed at Lyra. Government officials quickly joined them. One of them, General Clark, looked at Lyra with calculating eyes. "If the Vorn want her, maybe we can use that," he suggested. "A bargaining chip." "She's not a tool," Olivia said angrily. "She's a person, and I made a promise to protect her." "You made that promise without government approval," the general reminded her coldly. "And now Earth is facing an alien invasion because of it." Lyra stepped forward. "I don't want anyone to be hurt because of me," she said. Her voice was calm but firm. "Perhaps I should give myself up." "No," Olivia and General Clark said at the same time, though for different reasons. "The Vorn won't stop with just you," Olivia told Lyra. "They want to wipe out all organic life. They think it's inefficient." "Then what do we do?" Lyra asked. Olivia thought for a moment. "Your mother's memories mentioned that all Luminari share a telepathic connection. Could you use that to call for help?" Lyra looked uncertain. "I've been asleep so long, I don't know if I remember how. And the Luminary fleet is scattered across the galaxy, hiding from Vorn hunters." "Try," Olivia urged. "It might be our only hope." While they talked, military forces around the world were mobilizing. The president went on television to tell people that alien ships were approaching Earth. There was panic in many cities as people tried to evacuate. Back on the Dauntless, Eli and Samantha were still hiding in the maintenance areas. They had managed to avoid capture, but they knew it was just a matter of time before the Vorn found them. "I've been thinking," Eli said as they rested in a small storage room, "about the Luminari technology we studied from Olivia's escape pod." "What about it?" Samantha asked. "We developed weapons based on it, specifically weapons that could harm silicon-based life forms like the Vorn." Samantha's eyes widened. "The EM grenades? But they're still experimental. Half the time they don't work." "Better than nothing," Eli said. "And there's a weapons locker 3 levels down from here." Meanwhile, Vorn Prime Intelligence Officer Kirek stood on the bridge of the Dauntless, looking at Earth displayed on the main screen. "Such a primitive world," he said to his soldiers. "Yet they hide the key to destroying the Luminari once and for all." One of the soldiers reported, "The human weapon systems are locked. We cannot access them." "It doesn't matter," Kirek replied. "Our battlecruiser carries enough firepower to reduce this world to ash. Signal the ship to move into attack. Position." On Earth, Lyra sat cross-legged in the center of the facility's main room. Olivia and the others watched nervously as she closed her eyes and held the crystal pendant in her 6-fingered hands. "I can feel something," Lyra said softly. "Distant minds. My people. But they're so far away." "Keep trying," Olivia encouraged. Lyra's face showed strain. "They're afraid. Hiding. The Vorn have hunted them for years." As she concentrated harder, the pendant began to glow brighter. Sweat beaded on Lyra's forehead, or what looked like sweat, but shimmered like tiny diamonds. "I feel—" "Wait." Lyra's eyes snapped open. "Something's wrong." At that moment, alarms blared throughout the facility. A technician shouted, "Massive object entering Earth's atmosphere. It's bypassed all our satellite defenses." On screens around the room, they could see a huge dark ship, the Vorn battlecruiser, moving toward Earth. It easily broke through the defensive network that surrounded the planet. "How did they find us so quickly?" General Clark demanded. "They must have tracked the Dauntless's communication," a technician replied. Olivia made a quick decision. "We need to move Lyra somewhere remote." "Antarctica," General Clark said. "We have a hardened facility there. If they're tracking our communications, they might not know about it. It's our most secret base." As they prepared to transport Lyra, the princess continued her telepathic broadcast. "I'll keep trying," she promised. "Even if they can't reach us in time, they should know what happened." On the Dauntless, Eli and Samantha had reached the weapons locker. Inside were a dozen small devices that looked like metal eggs. "EM grenades," Eli said, stuffing several into his pockets. "They emit an electromagnetic pulse at a frequency that disrupts Vorn neural pathways." "In theory," Samantha reminded him. "In theory," Eli agreed, "but it's all we've got." They made their way toward the bridge, planning a desperate attempt to retake the ship. But as they got closer, they saw through a viewport that the Vorn battlecruiser was moving away, heading toward Earth. "They're going to attack without us," Eli realized. "We're too late." "Maybe not," Samantha said. "If we can retake the Dauntless, we might be able to stop them." They looked at each other, knowing the odds were against them. But as Olivia had once told Eli, what made humans different from both the Luminari and the Vorn was their unpredictability, their ability to hope even when things seemed hopeless. "Let's do it," Eli said, gripping one of the EM grenades tightly. "For Earth, for all of us." As the Vorn battlecruiser entered Earth's atmosphere, a small transport ship raced toward Antarctica, carrying Olivia, Lyra, and a team of soldiers. The white continent loomed ahead, its vast emptiness their best hope for hiding. But Lyra knew that hiding wouldn't be enough. Sooner or later, the Vorn would find them. Their only real hope was that somewhere, scattered among the stars, her people would hear her call and come to their aid. And aboard the captured Dauntless, Eli and Samantha prepared to fight against impossible odds, armed only with untested weapons and the stubborn human refusal to give up. The fate of 2 species, human and luminary, hung in the balance. The small ship carrying Olivia and Lyra landed at the Antarctic base with a hard bump. Outside, the wind howled across endless white plains. Inside the base, worried scientists and soldiers watched screens showing the Vorn battlecruiser moving through Earth's atmosphere. "Will they find us here?" Lyra asked, her voice shaking slightly. "I don't know," Olivia answered honestly. "But this place is shielded against most scanning technology. It might buy us some time." They were led to a large round room at the center of the base. The walls were lined with strange machines, human attempts to copy luminary technology. "This is our most secure location," said the base commander. "If you're going to continue your telepathic broadcast, do it here." Lyra nodded and sat cross-legged on the floor. She held her mother's pendant tightly and closed her eyes. As she concentrated, her skin began to glow brighter, pulsing with light like a heartbeat. Meanwhile, not all the Earth forces were friendly. Some military leaders from different countries thought giving Lyra to the Vorn was the safest option. A group of soldiers was secretly heading to the Antarctic base with orders to capture the princess. In space, aboard the captured Dauntless, Eli and Samantha crept toward the bridge. They had used 2 of their EM grenades already, taking out 6 Vorn soldiers. The grenades worked better than expected. The Vorn froze when hit with the electromagnetic pulse. Their silicon-based brains temporarily shut down. 4 grenades left, Eli whispered, and probably 20 Vorn on the bridge. "Not great odds," Samantha replied with a grim smile. They peered around a corner and saw the bridge entrance guarded by 2 Vorn soldiers. Beyond them, through the open door, they could see Kirek standing at the captain's position, watching Earth grow larger on the view screen. "We need a distraction," Eli said. Just then, the ship's sensors began beeping loudly. Kirex turned sharply. "What is it?" he demanded. A Vorn at the sensor station replied, "Spatial distortions forming around the planet. Many of them." "Impossible," Kirex said. "The luminary fleet is scattered. They couldn't possibly." Before he could finish, the view screen showed a flash of light, then another, and another. All around Earth, points of light blossomed like new stars being born. In the Antarctic base, Lyra gasped. Her eyes flew open, wide with wonder. "They heard me," she whispered to Olivia. "The scattered hives heard my call." On the screens around the room, they watched as ships appeared around Earth, dozens at first, then hundreds. They were beautiful, crystal vessels that glowed with soft blue and purple light. Some were small like the Dauntless. Others were massive, nearly as big as the Vorn battlecruiser. One ship stood out from the others. It was shaped like a giant snowflake and had obvious battle damage. Parts of its crystal surface were black and broken, but it moved with purpose, positioning itself directly in the path of the Vorn battlecruiser. "The royal vessel," Lyra breathed. "My mother's ship." "But we saw it destroyed," Olivia said, confused. "Parts of it, yes." Lyra smiled through her tears. "But luminary ships can separate in an emergency. The royal core must have escaped." On the Antarctic base's communication screen, a face appeared. Olivia's heart skipped a beat. It was older, with new scars cutting across the shimmering skin, but unmistakably the same being who had entrusted her with the galaxy's most precious cargo 5 years ago. "Olivia Mason," Queen Nixilla said, her voice thick with emotion. "My scouts tell me my daughter lives. You kept your promise." Olivia couldn't speak. She just nodded, tears running down her face. "The Vorn will be coming for her?" the Queen continued. "We will do what we can to stop them, but their battlecruiser is powerful." As if on cue, the base shook violently. Alarms blared. "They found us," someone shouted. "Vorn dropships are landing outside." On the Dauntless, Eli and Samantha saw their opportunity in the confusion. They threw an EM grenade onto the bridge. When it exploded in a flash of blue light, half the Vorn soldiers collapsed. Eli and Samantha rushed in, firing their weapons at the others. Kirex turned, his red eyes glowing with anger. "Humans," he spat, "always interfering." He raised his hand, and a bolt of energy shot toward them. Eli dodged, but Samantha wasn't fast enough. The bolt hit her in the shoulder, sending her spinning to the floor. "Sam!" Eli shouted. He threw another grenade directly at Kirex. The Vorn officer caught it in midair, but that was what Eli wanted. The grenade exploded in Kirex's hand, sending him crashing into the control panel. Eli rushed to a communication station. "This is Lieutenant Commander Eli Winters of Earth's Space Defense Force," he said urgently. "To all Luminari ships, the Vorn are vulnerable to specific electromagnetic frequencies. Our research shows their silicon-based bodies can't handle the wavelength of 438.7 terahertz." In the Royal Luminari vessel, Queen Nixala heard Eli's transmission. "Adapt all weapons," she ordered. "Target the Vorn ships with this frequency." The Luminari fleet, with their organic technology, could change and adapt quickly. Their weapons shifted, now firing beams of energy calibrated to the frequency Eli had provided. The effect was immediate. Vorn ships began to drift, their crews temporarily disabled. But the massive battlecruiser had heavy shielding. It continued toward Earth, now aiming directly at Antarctica. In the base, Olivia and Lyra felt another explosion, closer this time. "They're inside the base," the commander said. "We need to move." But there was nowhere to go. The Vorn were coming from all directions. Suddenly the wall exploded inward. Through the swirling snow stepped Queen Nixala, flanked by her royal guard. Behind them was a small transport ship. "Mother!" Lyra cried, running toward her. Before they could reach each other, Vorn soldiers burst through another wall. They raised their weapons, aiming at the Queen and Princess. Lyra stepped in front of her mother. Something was happening to her. Her skin was glowing brighter than ever, pulsing with energy. The crystal pendant at her neck shattered, its energy flowing into her body. "Stay back," she told the Vorn, her voice echoing strangely. The Vorn fired their weapons, but the energy blast stopped in midair, inches from Lyra. With a wave of her hand, she sent the blast back at the soldiers. They fell, their metal bodies smoking. More Vorn poured into the room. Lyra raised both hands, and a wave of blue energy washed over them. They froze, then collapsed. "How?" Olivia whispered in awe. "The pendant," Queen Nixala explained. "It contained not just my memories, but concentrated luminary energy. And Lyra's body was engineered to channel such energy." Through a hole in the wall, they could see the Vorn battlecruiser hovering overhead, preparing its main weapon. "We can't stop that," the Queen said, fear in her voice for the first time. Just then, a new ship appeared in the sky above them. It was the Dauntless, moving into position between the base and the battlecruiser. Eli's voice came through on all channels. "To all Earth and Luminary forces, clear the area. We're going to overload the Dauntless's power core." On the Dauntless's bridge, Eli helped Samantha into an escape pod. "Go," he said. "I'll set the self-destruct and follow you." Samantha shook her head. "The controls are damaged. Someone has to stay to make sure it works. We both know that." Before Eli could argue, a beam of light appeared on the bridge. When it faded, Eli and Samantha were gone, transported away just as Eli pressed the self-destruct button. They reappeared in the Antarctic base, surrounded by confused Luminari and humans. "What?" Eli began. "Luminari transporter technology," Queen Nixala explained quickly. "Now everyone down." They all dropped to the floor as a blinding flash lit up the sky. The Dauntless exploded, the blast hitting the Vorn battlecruiser directly. The larger ship's shields failed, and it began to break apart. As the dust settled, Queen Nixala looked at her daughter for the first time in over a decade. Lyra had changed from the child she remembered, transformed into a powerful young woman. The Queen fell to her knees. Lyra ran to her mother's arms. "Mom, I'm back," she cried, touching her forehead to her mother's in the traditional Luminari greeting. Then, turning to Olivia and Eli, she added, "He saved me." They both did. Queen Nixala looked up at the human woman who had protected her daughter and the human man who had helped return her. "The Luminari will never forget this debt," she said solemnly. "Today marks the beginning of a new alliance." As Earth's military arrived to secure the area, humans and Luminari stood together. the first tentative steps toward a new future for both species. And at the center of it all was Lyra, Princess of the Stars, raised by Earth, the living bridge between two worlds. With my daughter's unique biology and your species' remarkable adaptability, Queen Nixala said, we may finally end the Vorn threat forever. Olivia looked at Eli, then at the reunited royal family. I guess this makes Earth part of galactic politics now, whether we're ready or not. Eli smiled, his arm around Samantha's shoulders. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that humans are always ready to surprise everyone, including ourselves. As the sun rose over Antarctica, casting golden light across the ice, 3 species faced a new dawn: humans with their adaptability, Luminary with their advanced organic technology, and even the defeated Vorn. It wouldn't be easy. There would be more battles, more challenges, but standing together they had a chance. Lyra took Olivia's hand, then her mother's, joining them together. We are stronger together, she said. That is what I learned on Earth.